Hey, tonight on Taskforce Geek, we're going to be talking about the news that Oscar Isaac is going to be playing Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movie. We talk about Rob Liefeld coming back to Deadpool. We get into the Y-axis video game controller debate. We reminisce about the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special. If these guys have seen it, I don't know. And we tell you everything we know so far about Spider-Man 3, and that's coming up now. Welcome to Taskforce Geek. My name is Derek Cooper, and today I am joined by Sean.
Yo.
And Scott.
Howdy.
And Walt.
What up, everyone?
How about that? How's that treating you?
Wonderful.
Dude, they stole your sign?
Yeah, they stole my sign.
Would you have it in the front yard?
Yes. I expected it to get stolen. That's the whole deal. So that's the reason why I have two.
And what we're referencing is that
it's
Walt's
still disappointing.
Wu-Tang Forever sign.
You know, presidents are temporary.
I mean, you have it there. What?
No, yeah, I bought two.
Oh.
So I put one out in the yard because I knew that it was going to get stolen, eventually stolen. So,
I mean, I can't blame them for taking it. That's like a good sign to take if you're going to take it.
It's a good sign to take.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's a really good time to take. So
it has to be tempting.
Especially today, I mean, it's very uplifting, you know, when it says presidents are temporary, but Wu-Tang is forever, because Wu-Tang is forever.
That was the pause that refreshed.
Yes.
All right. We are broadcasting live from my Facebook account, which is that right there. We're also broadcasting from YouTube. Please go over there and like this and comment on this and subscribe there, please, please, please. And then also on my Twitter and my Periscope account, which is at Dirk Cooper Plus. You can follow me on there, and I will talk to you. It can happen. We got a comment already. Hey, there's Steve. Look at that.
Steve.
Hey,
what's up, Steve?
That's a new avatar.
Chuck Yeager. Chuck Yeager passed.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yes.
Yes, he did. Rest in peace. Didn't Steve have some news this week?
I think Steve did.
Yeah, he told us. Chuck Yeager passed.
All right. Fair enough. We're going to get into it. Let's go to our first segment. All right, Oscar Isaac is set to star Solid Snake in Sony's Metal Gear Solid movie. Sony's long-awaited Metal Gear Solid adaptation looks to have gained some major momentum as sources tell Deadline that Oscar Isaac is attached to play Solid Snake in the film, which is currently in development at Sony Pictures, with Jordan Vogt-Roberts on board to direct. The film is based on the Metal Gear Solid video game created by Hideo Kojima and published by Konami. The script is written by Derek Connolly. Avi Arad is producing. Peter Kang is executive overseeing for the studio. The game was first launched on PlayStation in 1998. That was 22 years ago, folks. And follows Snake, a soldier who infiltrates a nuclear weapons facility to neutralize the terrorist threat from Foxhound, a renegade special forces unit. The game has received acclaim on many fronts, but its storytelling that has a cinematic feel always made it seem like a movie adaptation was inevitable. So I guess my question is, do you think Oscar Isaac is a good choice for this? Have you had enough of that guy yet? Because he seems to be involved in everything. Are you excited about seeing Solid Snake on the silver screen?
Isn't the franchise older than 22 years or whatever, though? This is a video game that goes, I mean, I don't know about the Snake character, but Metal Gear was around back on the original Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You're saying it's even older than what they said.
I'm not saying the Snake character and the development of that character. I'm saying like the original game, Metal Gear.
The original game was released in 87.
Okay. But did it not have Snake as part of the character? Because it was a game I always saw in the back of my comics, and for some reason I never got to play it as a child.
I don't remember if the original game had Snake as the main character. I do remember that the cover art was ripped off from Terminator.
Okay.
Snake was the character.
So
Was
there,
Snake the character?
Marianne
Yeah.
says hi.
Hi.
Jeree
so I
says
would
hi.
say that
Hi, Drew.
whoever wrote
He
that
says
article,
he was laid off. That's not happy news, man.
Sorry,
that's
brother.
terrible news.
I knew that you had some news.
Yeah, it's bad news.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to like poke it, make it worse.
Way to go, Dirk.
Sorry.
So
Damn
you
it.
telling me this article didn't even
Hello
get the
to
right
Jim.
knowledge about the how
I'm
long?
going to say they
What's up?
may be off. Steve says that it was started in '87. Was Solid? I mean, Solid Snake was in the original,
Yeah,
right?
that's what Walt just said. Yeah.
Sean says, "Yo, guys."
Howdy.
What's up?
I don't
What's
always
up,
hear
bud?
you guys because I'm reading these things, these very important things, where people are chiming in. All right, I'm going to go to Sean, who has his hand up.
Oh, I was just saying I couldn't remember the original game from '87. It was '87. I've slept.
Right. I mean, that was
I've drank a lot of weird things.
we were all about 1 year old, in
You know.
'87.
So, but
I
like I
figured
said, I do
this-
remember the artwork for the cover was taken from a set photo from the original Terminator movie, which was it was a photo of Michael Biehn as the main character.
All right. Did he have some? Did he have a headband or something on?
Yep.
Actually, I
remember.
believe he did. I will
So
look it
what do you think about this, Sean? Are you excited about a movie on this subject, or do you think Oscar Isaac is a good choice?
Much like stated in the article, it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. You just expected it to happen.
A long time ago.
Probably about 20 years ago. Oscar Isaac, I think the guy's a great actor, and I think he'll do interesting for the character. I was holding out for Scott Eastwood. I thought he would do Snake a lot more like the video game
Snake-like.
character. Yeah, but
More snaky.
Oscar might be a bit more of a pull. Might get more
The
people
ladies
to
like
actually
him.
watch. So whatever.
Oh, Scott Eastwood. I got to admit, Sean, I think you're right. I think he looks more the part from what I'm familiar with.
Right, and that's what it all for me anyway. That's what I always, whenever they start fantasy casting these roles, I'm looking at, who is cheap, who is
Right.
who doesn't have a
Before-
whole lot of exposure that should. I'm usually leaning in that
You want to
direction.
get him cheap before you hit that fourth movie, and you got to renegotiate with him.
Right.
I'm saying, and especially after his character in oh crap, what was it?
Suicide Squad.
No, he was underused in that.
Little Orphan Annie. Gone with the Wind.
Pacific Rim 2.
Two.
Okay, still Pacific.
He struck me a little more there as a possible action franchise. I think you could do a lot with that actor in other action films, and honestly, with a lineage like his coming from Clint, come on, he's going to be a leading actor at some point. Let's give him a chance to earn those stripes. But since that's not happening, Oscar Isaac, I think he's a great pick. I think he'll do fine.
All right, Scott, what do you think?
I really have no opinion on this. I mean, like, part of me wants to holler and go, like, I'm surprised we didn't get a movie 10 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And the flip side to that is maybe we'll get a good movie now versus one that was just thrown together and was just so like some of the Resident Evil movies that we had.
What?
Well, I know there's fans of those things. And then there's other people who think they're trash. But I mean, I haven't played much of this. Like I said, going back to '87, I always wanted to play the game. I played a little bit on PlayStation. I mainly watched my friend Dave play this over and over again on PlayStation. You know, sneaking around in boxes and stuff like that. So it wasn't. Matter of fact,
they've got to have the box. They
It's
have
a
to get the
game-
box.
It's a game of patience.
Here's the truth. I got it for Christmas one year. I didn't open it. I went over to Dave's house. Dave was playing it. I played it.
Dave.
I played. It's a good game, but it's not a Scott game. And I didn't want to invest my life in this.
I just said it was a game of patience.
Yeah, not me. So I remember playing the game with Dave, and he's like, "Isn't this just awesome?" And I was like, "Yes, but I think I'm taking my copy back, you know, before I open it and waste, because I just won't play it long enough, you know." So I did the right move. I think I ended up getting like college football or something like that. So we'll see how it goes. Once you guys go watch the movie or download it and tell me it's awesome, I might listen to other people and then do it. You know, watch it myself.
Fair enough. All right, Walt, let me say first that Steve says it's okay. It's more time to do cool stuff. All right, well, that's good to hear.
Yes.
You know, and right before Christmas. I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, you got extra time, I guess.
That's normal.
It sure is. It seems like it is.
I mean,
And Sean said it scared the crap out of him when I said Sean has his hand up. We have
several Seans.
I have so many Seans, and it's spelled exactly that way too, which is unusual because Sean is usually SEAN or whatever. Anyway, okay, Walt, you're up. What do you think?
I'm just glad, like Scott said, that they didn't rush to make this movie some 22, maybe even 10 years ago. To be honest, Metal Gear Solid, Snake has not been on my mind at all in the last 2 decades.
Right, I hear you.
And for them to say, "Hey, we're going to do this Metal Gear Solid movie," I'm like, what? I haven't heard that in a long time. So that brings a little bit of excitement to it, because there's a lot of people who are like, "What's this Metal Gear thing?" So
Right.
Do we know if Kojima is attached to it in any way, or?
That's a good question. I do not. I don't think they mentioned that in the article either. They mentioned that he created the original character, but I don't think that he's attached to the. I mean, how Kojima is not attached to some movie project, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was in the movie industry, I would be hiring that guy to direct or to produce or write or something.
Yeah.
Is that all you had to say, man? Or I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, like, I played the game, or is it? I think it's Metal Gear Solid 2. I never finished the game, mainly because at the time my attention span just wasn't at that level yet. I think now, if I were to play the game now, I would be putting a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
You should have took it back to the store, Walt. You would have got something else you would have enjoyed.
No,
there's a lot more shooting involved, and
no, I'm not that type of person. I'm that type of person where it's like, you know what, I'll probably be interested in this later. And seeing as I still have a PlayStation 2, I can still go back and play that game if I wanted to.
Oh yeah.
So the movie will probably come out, and I'll probably go, you know what, let me play this Metal Gear Solid 2 game, see what it's all about. So,
When is the last time one of these games came out? It was about 3-4 years ago.
You know what? Let's Google that.
Ken says, "Hey guys."
Hey, Ken.
Steve says Isaac will be good for this role, but it's true his star is starting to wane. Thanks a lot, Star Wars.
2013 was the last one.
Oh, was that last generation?
Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
If I remember correctly, I didn't play it.
Oh, wait, I take it back.
Metal Gear Survive.
Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah, I think 2015.
Marianne says 215.
Yeah, I think she's right.
Metal Gear Survive came out in 2018.
No.
Wow.
Well, there you go. So they're still churning them out.
Yeah.
What do you have here? Sean, do I need to share this screen?
Share that.
Is this okay?
What was sharing?
Oh yeah. I remember
That's the
that.
original.
Here is Michael Biehn from the original Terminator,
All right.
and
I
here's the
don't
artwork
think-
for the original Metal Gear.
I don't think those are the same at all.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
No,
Dude.
they totally swiped that.
No, Michael Biehn has no gloves on.
They totally swiped that.
They really mixed it up here.
Yeah.
They did. They you know,
They totally swiped that.
I
there's
mean,
that what is it?
Just like him too.
The false 10%. As long as you change it by 10%, you can't
Yeah.
be sued. That's bull. Anybody that tells you that, they're full of hooey
Yeah.
or they're just ignorant.
He's
Yeah.
got some extra bags down there and stuff.
There's some extra pouch. Well, there's a pouch. There's a spool, or there's a pouch.
Spool.
Here, the band.
They rolled his sleeves up.
Yeah,
Gave him some gloves.
It's almost
They
totally different.
They changed his gun, but it's still a swipe.
He has a pouch. He's got a pouch in his mouth where he does not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to swiping, but when you do it so obvious like that,
Sean goes,
Listen,
right.
I'm a graphic designer. I've been a graphic designer for a long time, and if your art director comes up and says, "I need this picture, I need it by the end of the day,"
yeah.
and it's going to go on the cover of this video game, you're going to go
Swipe, swipe,
and you're gonna start flipping through stuff. Oh, hey, this is before the internet, so you're gonna come across a photo in a magazine that you saw of this movie Terminator, and you're gonna go, "Yep," and you're gonna get to going.
No one's seen that movie.
Hey, there's an X-Men cover that has Colossus, which is a total swipe of Arnold Schwarzenegger from Commando.
If you look at what was the game, Contra.
Oh yeah.
That was stolen straight from 2 separate Predator photos.
Oh yeah.
Terrible. That again, that's the graphic community. That's the get it done.
And coming out of art school, that's back in the day when fashion illustration was a thing. That was one of the things you had to do was swipe. So
you do what you got to get the job done, man.
Yep. Like I said, I'm not opposed to it, but people who do too much of it.
Well, whenever you rely on it, that's the problem.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're moving on to the next subject.
Okay.
It's holiday season.
Yes.
Well, I thought it would be fun to have a holiday question. And the question is, in 1978, CBS aired the Star Wars Holiday Special one time, and it was never aired again. There are bootleg copies out there. You can see it on YouTube right now. And George Lucas, among others, wanted to go away entirely. But what do you think about releasing a restored, 4K version of that? I don't even know if they could do that. But
do it.
I want to know what you guys think about it. And if you did see it either long ago, please tell us about that. And if you've seen it recently, tell us about that also. First, Walt is chomping at the bit, so I'm going to go to him first.
I've seen it. I've watched it again recently, and it's it's a guilty pleasure because it's so bad.
Right.
I will say though, I'm always pleased when we get to that animated portion where we see Boba Fett for the first time.
It has its pleasures.
And that's the part that I want to see restored. That's the part I would love to see in 4K streaming on my Disney Plus app. So I say do it. Do it. We get Carrie Fisher singing and everything. I say do it.
Sean says, "Oh hell no." Steve says I would watch the crap out of it.
Yeah,
Ken says he saw it 2 months ago.
I restore that stuff.
So, Walt, did you see it back long ago, or did you just see it recently? Okay,
I saw it long
tell
ago.
Me,
then
did you see it on that night? I believe it was November 17th, 1978.
I did on CBS.
Tell me what you, as a younger man, what did you think about it at the time?
For the most part of it, it was just like, this is the look on my face.
That was,
and then they get to the animated part, and I'm like, there's going to be a Star Wars cartoon, which never happened until I was well into high school, and then all we got was the droids and the Ewoks.
Right,
and
Ewoks.
And for some reason, the Ewoks got a second season and not droids. But yeah, the animated portion I thought was probably the highlight of the whole thing, and it was not long enough. So,
I'm going to go over some comments here. Steve says, "How could you ever find fault with B. Arthur in Star Wars?"
Oh,
Marianne says, she wants to see it restored.
Yes.
Steve wants to know about the Lego version. We'll talk about that in a minute if anyone's seen it. I watched it a couple of nights ago.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Sean says he watched it with his mom. Ken doesn't remember seeing it the first time. Sean said his mom wondered why he liked Star Wars after watching that. All right, Scott, I'm going to you, buddy.
I know I saw this when it came out. Now, in 1978, I was 4 years old, or probably about 4.5. Wow. I know this is like one of my earliest childhood memories, because in the show you had a character that takes a drink and he pours it into his head because he has a hole in his head. And
that is great television.
Growing up, I always knew that I seen some type of Star Wars thing with a guy in his head, and I remember arguing with people at school that like it was in like the regular Star Wars movie in the Creature Cantina, and they would say, "No, I don't know what you're talking about," and stuff. So yes, I know I saw it live back in 1978, but I have faint memories of that. I remember Lumpy, Chewbacca's child that they.
How could you forget?
Let me tell you something. I recently made my kids watch this within the last 3 years or less. It's probably been 2 years at least. But I said, let's watch this. And
did you? I
said, we're going to watch all of this. And
right. Yeah, what did they? Oh, that's interesting. What did they think?
We hit YouTube and we watched it all. They couldn't believe that this got made. And I tried to tell them, like, the contents of it is like, we got Star Wars, and it was planned for just one movie. And then we got this, right. It's such a variety show, which I guess was the thing of the times, right? I mean, we all remember sitting around, or at least I do, with my grandparents, and we watched the Mandrell sisters and all these people do these variety shows.
Donnie and Marie. And
oh my gosh.
The Carol Burnett show.
Carol Burnett.
Flip Wilson.
It was
Flip Wilson, yes.
It was fun to watch, but super painful at the same time. Like, I cannot tell anybody out there, like Marianne who's watching now, or anybody else, you might not want to watch this because you have better time to spend for your hour or whatever. Because whatever it was, I don't remember if it was an hour and a half, or 50 minutes. It feels like
2 flipping hours.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something.
Am I wrong on that?
It feels like
I think
about
it's
8 hours. It feels like 8 hours. It's very slow and drawn out, and it has these trippy scenes of them dancing around and singing and, all this nonsense. And as a little boy, all you wanted was to see like Luke Skywalker destroy people and stormtroopers and all that. It's awful and good. And I don't know why Disney, this is what I would do if I was Disney. I would not put it on Disney Plus. I'd release that thing as a DVD only around Christmas time, and people would buy it because they go,
good idea.
"Oh, my son's a nerd. He likes Star Wars. I'll buy this." And they go buy a $30 Blu-ray, and they could just print money off this because everybody would want one of those, at least for a while, or do the Disney thing where they vault it. Like, here it comes this year, and you're not going to see it again for 5 years.
Yeah.
Because it's on YouTube.
Strategy.
So you can see it for free.
Sell
So
that.
1
Let
hour
somebody-
and 37 minutes.
There you go.
well, it might as well have been 11 hours and 37.
so that's with commercials. It ran for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Now,
With commercials.
and I vaguely remember as a child seeing the Boba Fett thing. Like when I rewatched it, that's when I was
First
like,
appearance
oh,
of Boba Fett.
I remember this. Now I remember this, so we had all of that. And, we might talk about it later in this episode or in a future episode, but the same joy we got as kids in 1978 seeing Boba Fett, we
Right.
finally got
Oh boy, yeah. Let's not get on that
42
right.
years
Yeah.
later in this latest episode.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'd very much like to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about that here in a minute.
No, we can whatever.
Sean,
Anyways.
what do you? Well, I want to talk about that subject too. Sean, what do you think, man? Release the. Oh, Scott, you didn't chime in. Should they release it? You say do it as a DVD.
I say do it as a Blu-ray. Yeah, special.
All right.
Do it.
He said
I
do it
mean-
around Christmas time, like all the.
If I was a Disney executive, I would just do that about once every 5 years and sell 1 million copies.
Right.
So
All right. What do you think, Sean?
Let me tell you a small story. I was living in California for a time, and I decided to come back home to Oklahoma. And at the time, I was working for a tree nursery. Wasn't making a whole lot of money, but what I had, I saved up thanks to my grandparents and whatnot, who I was living with at the time. And I bought a bus ticket. They were having a special on a bus ticket. So I bought a Greyhound ticket, and I rode a bus from California to Oklahoma. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever ridden on a bus cross country or even halfway across country, but I can tell you that it is one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my entire life. Now, with that being said, I highly recommend that every single human being on the planet take a bus trip around
before watching Star Wars,
Watching the holiday special was much like that bus trip. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my entire life as a Star Wars fan. But everybody should experience it at least once.
At least once.
Everybody.
Agreed.
I think it should be restored 4K. Rock and roll. I say do it. Go all the way. Restore it crystal clear. Put it up, like Walt said. Put it up on Disney Plus. Release it on a Blu-ray, a special edition Blu-ray. You can even put the Lego holiday special with it. Throw in some extra crap if you. Who cares? Make a box. If you made a box set, it's one of the extra discs in the box set. Whatever. Do it.
Give it away.
Give it away. But make sure that it is part of somebody's collection, because there's a lot of people out there, no matter how much they hate it, they want a copy.
Yep.
They want a copy of it in their collection. I say go for it.
That's me. I'm holding my hand up. I'll buy it.
I personally, the animated portion, I would just sit there and watch the animated portion. No, over and over and over and over.
Why didn't we get like 2 hours of that?
It was such a weird style of illustration that they used. It was so odd, even for that time period. Maybe even especially for that time period.
Yeah,
it was just so weird. The characters, it almost looked like something from Heavy Metal.
Mm-hmm.
It was very odd, the characterizations that they did. But as a kid, I'm looking at this thing going, I gotta have more of that.
Mm-hmm.
I need a lot.
That was
more
me.
of that. It was just
me.
I mean, that's what they could do. They could release it next year. People would buy a copy. And then the next year they release it with the Lego movie. And the year after that, they release it with something else. And then in about 5 years, you re-release it with another 10-minute Boba Fett short cartoon in that same style. And you would sell 1 million. Sean would buy it 4 times.
Probably.
So would
Hey,
Walt.
I'll even go further than that. You
Hello,
know,
Maxine.
hey mom, sell a special, like the first time it's out, sell a special edition, you know, with all the bells and whistles and everything. And then every year after that, it's $7 in the $5 to $10 bin. Because I go through, when I need, every weekend I go through that bin to find something stupid to watch on Saturdays.
I am the type of person that if they put every single Star Wars toy commercial on a Blu-ray, I'd buy it.
Same here.
If you
Probably would
restore all
too.
those, if you
Same here.
restore those commercials to 4K and sold it
probably
on
would
Blu-ray,
too.
I'd buy it.
All these kids with bowl haircuts playing in the
Yes,
sand.
yes.
Oh, you caught me. Oh.
I would too.
I'm not proud. I would totally throw down, $10-15 on that Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Totally would do it.
Steve says, I honestly find it enjoyable and entertaining. It's of its time for sure. And there is a lot of bad stuff.
It's bad.
However, just enjoy it for what it is and don't judge it. You can find entertainment in it.
You can't help but judge it.
He
Right.
says the art was Ralph Bakshi-esque.
I don't know have they ever made action figures from the Star Wars Christmas? I mean,
No.
there's so many merchandise they could make.
No.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't buy Star Wars figures, but I might buy the one with the guy with the hole in his head who made it. I drink with my head.
Jim just figured out we're nerds.
Well,
I'm gonna go with geeks, seen as,
yeah, we're not
it's in the
Task Force
title.
nerds.
yeah, we're Task Force geeks.
It's in the title. Okay, I got to tell my Star Wars holiday special story. I saw this over in 1978 on November 17th at my grandmother's house for some reason. I was over there watching that. I know that they were probably watching something stupid, and I watched it in their room because I had to see it. It was
They
Star
were
Wars.
watching something too.
so yeah, they were probably watching the Grand Ole Opry or some stupid
Or Dallas.
Dallas is good. So anyway, I watched this thing and I was perplexed on it. I thought, what the hell is this thing? Who conceived? I mean, even at that time, I was a kid and I was thinking, what were they thinking on this? However, the animation was cool enough, and I was a big Boba Fett fan at that time, because if you didn't live back during you don't realize what it was like to get anything Star Wars. I mean, when Star Wars came out, it wasn't just another movie. There is no movie that you can compare to Star Wars. Star Wars changed the entire entertainment industry and not just the entertainment industry, but also toys and everything else. I mean, Star Wars was an earthquake as far as everything happened. And we had to wait, 3 years for the next movie. And so it was a gift to us to get the holiday special. And before that, we got the Boba Fett action figure. And they didn't say much about what Boba Fett was, but he sure looked cool. I can tell you that. And he showed up in that holiday special with his weird gun that didn't show up in Empire Strikes Back, and he was super awesome. And Luke was in a Y-wing for some reason. I thought that was really strange and cool. The animation does very much remind me of Heavy Metal, something maybe from France or something, I want to say. Anyway, it had its charms. There's some of it that is worth seeing. And I think that if you're a Star Wars fan, you realize now that, there's plenty of Star Wars stuff out there. Look, we got The Mandalorian, okay? So it's okay to look back in the past and laugh at this old thing that was, wildly off theme for Star Wars. I mean, it was definitely done. They handed it to some old guy who was doing variety show stuff, and he goes, well, gosh, Star Wars must mean B. Arthur and Art Carney and all of the other stuff. And as long as we have the Star Wars characters in there, and almost everyone is in it, everyone shows up in the thing. You get a few extra Wookiees, which is cool. I mean,
Kids will love Lumpy.
we got to go to Kashyyyk and stuff.
Yeah.
At least in that, we didn't get to see it in Return of the Jedi like it would have been cool. But anyway, I think that you have. I think it's the sort of thing that around this time of year, you're always looking for some silly little thing to watch that's, holiday special-esque. And this could definitely be something that, even if it's weird and it's funny in all the wrong ways, I think that if you restored this thing and put it out there, it would make $1 trillion. The reason why I don't think that they're going to do it, at least right now, is because it's leaving money on the table, and Disney does not like to leave money on the table, is probably because George Lucas would throw a fit. George Lucas was embarrassed by this. It was a misstep early on, and he would like for it to be buried and never seen again. But for those of us who grew up with this, and see, I mean, Scott's showing it to his kids, so it still is something that can provide some entertainment for people. And
let me tell you this: my kids made it through the Star Wars Christmas special. They did not make it through the official episode 1.
wow.
The difference is those main 3 characters, those actors. That's the difference between that trilogy and the others. I mean, like, I still don't think they're quote unquote better overall movies. I mean, we could argue that, but we're not tonight. But people like Harrison Ford and stuff made those Star Wars movies, and that's my kids made it through those versus the others. So tells a lot.
You're saying episode 1, the prequels?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the episode 1 in particular was brutal.
Well, it was.
Yeah,
they didn't make it.
I blame that on the director.
Yeah. Who didn't have his
So you think
who
that
didn't have his wife to help him do editing, and didn't have Gary Kurtz available to help him do producing?
Yeah.
So you think as soon as Lucas dies, they're going to go, "Oh, we feel bad for him," and then
I
3
think
months
as soon as
later,
Lucas-
we're
yes.
going to see the
I think we're
Christmas
going to see
special?
I think we're going to see 2 things. I think we're going to see the holiday special, and I think we're going to see the original version of Star Wars, completely restored, updated, and sold.
Lucas was hardcore against DVD and Blu-rays because he didn't know the technology. He didn't have any faith in the technology. When he puts his foot down, that doesn't mean that it can't be moved. He just has to be shown that people want it or people will invest in it.
I don't think he realizes. George Lucas often misplaces some of the fan reaction. Boba Fett's a good example of that. He didn't think Boba Fett was a big deal at all, and almost everyone I knew loved Boba Fett. So by the time he gets to Return of the Jedi, he has something stupid happen to him, and he flies into the Sarlacc pit, and we never get to see the ass whoop that we knew that guy was capable of.
Right.
So we fast forward, however many years, and we have the latest Mandalorian episode. Spoiler alert.
Well, not only that. I mean, we get you can take it back to the Clone Wars, where we see all these clones of which are basically Boba Fett. Boba Fett's brothers, older brothers at that, and we see how badass they are compared. Because they're all. I mean, when you look at them, they are pretty badass in large numbers. So, but yeah, we don't get to see the Boba Fett do his thing until, many years later.
The last episode. You guys want to talk about that since we're on Star Wars?
I don't know. We can.
Go ahead, Sean.
Go, Sean.
What I was trying to say earlier was that George, even though he plants his feet, he can be moved. If Jon Favreau continues to impress the world with Star Wars, if he keeps showing everybody that Star Wars is still popular and people still want more Star Wars, and then he in a meeting says, "Hey George, what about that holiday special? I know it's kind of a cringy thing, but what if we What if we took that and cleaned it up? And I think the fans would be really into that. He'd probably be like, you really think so? Because I mean, if you think it's good, go ahead. That's what it'll take. It'll take him trusting someone saying, dude, people want to see this.
Yeah.
Even if they hate it, they want to see it.
Right.
And he will relent, I believe.
Lucas is still showing up to the set on all of this stuff. I mean, they keep having Lucas around there. So
yeah, and he wasn't all that impressed with Baby Yoda. And then suddenly it's like, oh, people actually like this. And it's
like I said, he's a little
right.
He's a little removed from fan reaction.
He's a little removed from reality.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, he doesn't need any of that. He's got $4 billion.
Well,
and then some.
And then some.
And my respect for not just creating Star Wars, but also completely changing the entertainment industry from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
And those prequels that we like to pick on were the first major motion pictures that were done with digital cameras. I mean, he absolutely led the way on that, and now the entire industry is done with digital cameras. He created Industrial Light and Magic, which completely revolutionized the entire special effects industry. He
Skywalker sound.
He was involved with creating the origin of Pixar. Mm-hmm. Yes, he did THX, which changed the theaters for all of us. George Lucas changed the way we watch movies, and not just by creating Star Wars. He changed it from top to bottom.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about the latest Mandalorian episode, because we did get some really great stuff with Boba Fett. We were talking about how he got he got
Spoilers!
a little bit.
Spoilers! Let's give everybody about 10 seconds right now. It is 7:48. We will for sure stop talking about this at 8 o'clock if you want to come back. So we warned you.
Yeah,
is that fair?
Spoiler.
Everybody agrees?
I think that's good. If you haven't seen the episode, I mean, I don't know how you've been on the internet and not heard about Boba Fett being in this thing.
We're going to start talking in 10, 9, 8, 7.
I don't think we need, to be honest with you, we're 5 days off of this being a big spoiler.
Yeah.
If we did it Friday morning.
We're we're 3 weeks on spoilers.
We are way behind on exactly.
Well, that's
we are
all right.
way behind.
I just wanted to warn everybody. Come back at 8 o'clock, real quick. I'm just going to say, and don't just cut to me. We can all just sit here. I want to see everybody's reaction.
Ken hasn't seen it.
Well, Ken, come back at 8 o'clock.
Boba Fett's in it, and then he dies.
Boba Fett's in it.
No,
ready? Here we go. Spoilers go. As a child, we got this action figure. We saw a glimpse of him.
Dude.
Oh, I'm getting excited.
We're right here with you, buddy.
Okay. We get the action figure, with the rocket and all that stuff. We get this cool guy.
Yep.
He gets chumped out in Return of the Jedi. We're going, I thought he was cool. Right. Then we get a story in the 90s about how he escaped the Sarlacc pit. Us older kids, if we've read that story in the Tales of the Jabba's Palace. And then here we are. 42 years later, since his first appearance, we finally get the one thing we've always wanted to see happen. And unfortunately, it's old man Boba Fett doing what he does best.
Yeah, but now, he didn't look like an old man.
I'm going to let everybody else talk about it. I'm going to finish my piece, and then I'm going to shut up, for real. The only thing I did not like about this is like... it in my head, I was going like, but he's kind of just a shifty bounty hunter back then, but we didn't really get a ton of stories. So maybe there's more stories to tell about him. And maybe he was drunk when they went out to the Sarlacc pit. And that's how Han knocked him in there. They were drinking, they were partying. He was younger. So maybe that's all it. Anyways,
he partied a lot the night before.
I told Jennifer, I was like, we've been waiting every Star Wars little boy has waited 42 years to get this. And we got a whole hour or 50 minutes or whatever of it. All right. I'm done talking. You got to
that was it, y'all. That was it.
Sean says Dad bod Boba Fett.
I wanted to give you all enough time to talk because I said we'll stop talking tonight.
That whole thing. Plus, also, what was surprising was, okay, so Boba Fett wasn't a Mandalorian. Spoiler alert.
We got so much information.
Spoiler
so
alert.
Much world building.
Because we knew this way back from the prequels when there's the armor could have been stolen. Jango's armor could have been stolen.
Right.
And then we find out that if you're a fan of the Clone Wars and all that stuff, and you learn that he's actually a member of Death Watch. So you're like, oh my goodness, that would be a great explanation as to how he got his armor. So I was like, okay, I'm satisfied. You've satisfied my taste.
A lot of loops.
Yeah.
If I remember right, wasn't it Death Watch that saved Mando on his planet?
Exactly.
Yes.
There's a lot of circles being closed, man.
Oh yeah.
They had a little bit of a redemption story. I mean, we talked about Boba Fett having a series or a limited series a few weeks ago. And one of the things that most of us mentioned is this is going to be a darker type thing because he's a bad guy. Well, I mean, in this latest episode, they showed that he's a man of honor. So maybe maybe they're doing a little bit of a redemption on that character.
I personally, there's really nothing about Boba Fett at this point. At this point, there's nothing about Boba Fett that, in my opinion, warrants an extended story. Would I like to see an episode where he escapes the Sarlacc pit? Sure. That would be wicked. I would love for them to go back to the original novel and illustrate that for us. I think that would be cool. But the character, they haven't shown a whole lot of the character to warrant a spin-off or anything like that. Now, do I think that he would make a great side character or even make him a lead in a group series? Absolutely. He needs a little bit
like
of a
the
buffer.
Dirty Dozen.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You want to put Boba Fett in a Suicide Squad type of show? Rock and roll. That would be fantastic. But I don't think that he himself needs a whole lot more story per se. But maybe over the next what we've got 2 episodes. I think we've got 2 more episodes left this season.
Yep, it's almost done.
Maybe they'll bring out a little bit more of his character and whatnot.
It's almost done already.
We got 2 more episodes. I think
it's weird watching these as they come out. Then
it is. I didn't do that last time.
I don't watch much TV, so that's awesome.
So here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see what happened between his last Clone Wars appearance, because
when he was growing up,
when he was how he became part of the Watch, so to speak.
They could do that,
because if you've seen the Clone Wars, you remember the last time we saw him in Clone Wars, he was plotting revenge against Mace Windu. He was trying to plot revenge against Mace Windu, right. and it got foiled, and then we never saw him again.
And Mace Windu's still out there, isn't he?
We don't know.
We didn't have a body.
He got tossed out the window. We haven't seen him since. So
I mean, if you don't have a body, and you don't burn it,
you got to let some guys die. Let him die.
But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see, and it doesn't even have to be.
Sean says Seventh Samurai.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Just
Michelle says hi.
The old guy.
Sean's wearing red.
So we could have like a 4-part or a 6-part like anthology on Boba Fett. We could start off with him when he gets picked up by the Night Watch as a kid and go through that, and then just
Walt, that would make a great mini cartoon series, and you could release one a year on the Star Wars Christmas special for the next 6 years.
We got a lot of Star Wars Christmas special DVDs to give away.
We got 3 minutes left to talk on this before people come back.
Estelle says you're looking good in that red there.
Yes,
Sean.
She meant me. Look at this. Did she say Sean? Oh, she did. Dang it.
She did say Sean.
But yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
I think that Robert Rodriguez directing that episode was super awesome. I cannot get enough of him, bashing in those stormtrooper helmets, and just
that was cool to see,
the
like the
tar
Sand
out of
People's
everyone.
weapon be good,
Used. Yes,
Yeah,
actually
used.
used and be. I agree totally.
brutal.
Yeah.
The whole episode and this whole season has been amazing. The last 4 episodes have just been insane.
Yeah.
World building and answering questions and asking more questions and introducing characters and being great as far as action. I mean, this series is really, especially this season. I mean, last season it was fun to play around in this world, but this season is they've gone into another gear, and I don't know what the end is going to be like. You got 2 more episodes, and you know that they're going to drop the bomb on you somewhere. But this has been, this season has just really been something else.
Not yet, Ken. Well, depends. Are we going to stop this now?
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, we're
all right. We're done, Ken.
We're done.
Steve said, read your post on Facebook about the Rodriguez episode, Dirk. Thought you maybe needed a cigarette. I did. It was orgasmic. Yeah, Ken, you can listen again, buddy. We're out of this. And Sean says, "Boomer
sooner."
Yeah, there's another thing around here where we go boomer and sooner, and it has nothing to do with being old.
Yes.
No, it's University of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Different thing entirely, folks. Been around long, long before you did. You were around. You came up with these silly little phrases.
Yeah. So call us a boomer, and we're just going to say sooner.
Yeah, that doesn't work real well in Oklahoma, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't work very well.
See, Ken knows how to do it.
See? Yeah.
See how that works?
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to the next thing so that Ken can watch us again. Sean apparently got a kick out of that. All right, banners. Hey, Rob Liefeld's going back to Deadpool. Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld has announced he will return to Marvel Comics over a year after his public exit from the publisher in October 2019. Liefeld will return to Marvel to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Deadpool's debut in 1991, New Mutants number 98. Liefeld created Deadpool alongside writer Fabian Nicieza. We had a guest on that said his name, and I still can't pronounce it.
Me neither.
In 1991, New Mutants number 98, as an adversary for the Young Mutant team. When New Mutants relaunched as X-Force, Deadpool became a breakout character, spinning off into his own limited series, followed quickly by an ongoing series that has more or less continued in one volume or another to the present day. The character has also started 2 successful films, maybe you've heard of them, played by Ryan Reynolds, with a 3rd film in the works. Plans for the Deadpool 30th anniversary celebration include a Deadpool Nerdy 30 one-shot and 30 variant covers, all drawn by Liefeld. He's drawing 30 covers for featuring Deadpool alongside other Marvel characters, including some of Liefeld's other creations and co-creations. Scott picked this subject, so I'm going to him first.
Oh, I just think it was a topical subject of, like, every time Rob Liefeld leaves the company, if you're a comic fan, you know that he's worked for, the big 2 for a long time and had his own company, several own companies several times. And usually at some point he kind of leaves for whatever creative differences or whatever. And then he comes back. So comics is kind of like pro wrestling in the fact that you never say never. And I think it's more than anything, the 30 covers, because the comic, I think, industry lately has a ton of variant covers for variant.
It has become its own thing for sure.
I mean, like the last King in Black, which is the big crossover with the character Null from Venom. He's coming like the king of the symbiotes or whatever. Anyways, I think that thing had at least 10 covers. I could be wrong on that, but it was a bunch of covers. So if you're a person that speculates or tries to grab cover variants, I know story variants are the thing now where I think, and I'm probably quoting this wrong, but like if you had a comic shop, you could, if I had Scott's Comics, I could contact Marvel to do an exclusive cover drawn by me. I would just have to pay them like $6,000 for the rights to do that. And then I get to pay for the copies of all those copies for my comic shop to sell. I've noticed a lot of places that do this. You can get those exclusive variant covers online from their store. And a lot of times they're already like CGA. What is it? Is it not CGI, but what is it? Comics Graded Authority, CGA, or whatever it's called, CGC. The great place that grades the comics. You can buy like a graded comic, like a King of Black #1. It's $50. It's already graded. It's in mint condition. It's sealed, so you can collect it and keep it forever. So like variant covers are a big deal, and even stores now, like my shop, they get one copy of a store variant. So whether he orders like 10 or 25 comics of that one issue, he gets one variant cover. So there's a lot of exclusive things out there, and maybe that's what the industry needs, for people to kind of collect these or buy multiples of the same title. I don't know, but I thought it was interesting. 30 different covers, because there's at least one, if not two or more people who are going to try to collect every cover. And this might be one of the hottest selling books to Marvel based off of cover sales alone. And it will probably give them an excuse to sell out and then do second printings, which are also a big deal in comics right now. They keep their orders tight. They print to order so they can have a sellout, and then everybody thinks the book's hot, and they do a second printing with a different cover. And a lot of people buy that next cover. So it's just interesting. He's going to actually probably do more covers than he ever has done pages in a while. So. Not true. He's been doing a Snake Eyes limited series for IDW.
Oh, has he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's gone through 3 issues, and he's drawn all of them and stuff.
All right.
And if you don't like Rob Liefeld, you're not going to like this Snake Eyes series. And if you accept Rob Liefeld for what he is, you'll enjoy it. So
let me throw a couple of questions at you.
Okay, you got to get me just off the focus here. I want to see other people. It's driving me nuts. Yeah, I'm in charge.
Wow.
I'm in charge.
What's your thought about Rob Liefeld in general, like as an artist?
I have not a love-hate relationship. Now I know where Sean stands on this.
I like that right there.
Rob Liefeld burst onto the scenes. I remember his stuff in the comic called X Mutants, which was a black and white comic. I think he took over for Rob Liefeld. He did some of those stuff. I think it was from Malibu way back when. When he exploded onto the Marvel scene, or the Hawk and Dove scene, which he did a miniseries for DC Comics, I bought that exclusively on the art. And this was before he got popular, so like he was really filling the pages with some backgrounds, whether you liked his art or not. So I was a fan for a while. He did Youngblood. I don't know if I'm really a fan of everything Rob Liefeld does, but he does. I don't care what anybody says. He brings a lot of energy, good or bad, to his work, and I still think he does at times. Now, if you say you hate his stuff, I can't argue with you that it's like good or high quality. But I've always kind of followed a lot of his creations. I enjoyed like a lot of the characters and wanted Youngblood to be something that it really never was for Image Comics. And really a lot of Rob Liefeld's characters, once they were in the hands of other creators, blossom into great stuff. I mean, Alan Moore wrote Supreme for a while, which is Superman with an attitude. Some different guys took over, Youngblood. They were great little series. So the Prophet series was taken over. I can't remember the guy's name, but it ran another like 25 issues or more.
Supreme was kind of a precursor to Homelander.
Yeah. The Glory series, Glory was his character. It was like a USA version of Wonder Woman. He let Joe Keatage take over that. I can't remember the artist's name, but they did like 12 issues after the fact, many, many years later. And it is a wonderful series. Like, I have the originals, and I loved it so much that I went and I bought the hardcover. It's a beautifully done series, and if I would handed it to you and said, just read this independently, you'd go, this is amazing, who created this? And then I would said, Rob Liefeld. Like I said, the Prophet series that he let some other guys tackle, really wonderful too. So I guess where everything changed for me, and you guys are going to laugh at me, I was at a comic convention to play some HeroClix tournaments down in one of the Dallas tournaments back in the day in Arlington. And Rob Liefeld was there, and he did free sketches all day long. And I'm not kidding saying he did free sketches all day long.
Is that what Steve Campbell's talking about here? Same experience?
Well, Steve came up to me, and, of course, at the time, Joe Casey came up and talked to Rob Liefeld. So, I mean, he didn't try to, like, bust balls to get, pictures done. But he sat there and drew free pictures all day long. I think I was the fourth in line. It took me a couple hours to get my free sketch. Merritt Michaels, his buddy that always is like kind of clinging on to Rob Liefeld, he also drew a free sketch for me. So Rob Liefeld from San Diego, when we met him way back when, was kind of a pompous guy. I saw him again. I don't know what year that was, probably 2005 or something. I stood in line, got a free sketch. I kind of forgave him, because we all kind of learn stuff as we grow older. Now, if you don't like his stuff, I totally get it. And I don't mean any disrespect to this. He's very California, if that explains a lot. I mean, it's just a different mindset than the Oklahoma people or wherever you're from. It's just different. So I've buried the hatchet long ago with Rob Liefeld, and my comic shop even teases me often because I'll still, if it's a character I like and he's doing it, I'll buy it. So I'm not ashamed to say I buy some of his stuff. So how about that diatribe?
Keith says, can he draw feet? The answer is no.
Nope. That's where rocks come in.
Rocks and smoke. And
definitely screams 90s.
He is like almost the definitive 90s artist. I mean,
watching David Finch last night, he can't draw feet. He admits that he can't draw feet. So the drawing feet thing,
he did a thing of Red Sonja, and he didn't draw either of her feet. And I love David Finch, and he owns it though.
Yeah.
Murph says my auto mechanic is named Rob. He sucks too.
I have that love-hate thing with Rob Liefeld.
Ken wants to know what's wrong with California.
Everything.
Nothing's wrong with California,
everything.
But I think it was Steve Campbell. We were standing in line and we were just talking, and he was like, "Yeah, he's very California," and I was like, "Oh, I guess it's just different." I don't know what to say.
Being from California, I can tell you everything is wrong with California. Long Beach, everything is wrong.
In there. I mean, I think it's cool that Rob's going back to Deadpool after all this time. I mean, he did create the character, but
he deserves to take a victory lap here.
He does deserve it. I mean, I will say that everybody else who's had their hands on Deadpool I have to say this, and this is disrespect to Rob, they did a better job at writing his character. But yeah, I mean, Deadpool, I remember when Deadpool came out, like made his first appearance, he looked cool. I mean, talk about Rob's style, his style. Yeah. It's out there. But he had a knack for designing and creating characters. I mean, granted, he's the reason for the big shoulder pad craze back in the 90s.
Oh boy.
Shoulder pads and pouches. But yeah, and going to what Scott said, he drew. I met him at a couple of conventions, and all day long he was doing free sketches for everybody. I have to say I have one myself. I have a free sketch from him, but he did free sketches for everything, for everybody. When I was in line waiting to get my sketch, there was a kid who was physically challenged in a wheelchair, and the kid had a sketchbook, and Rob Liefeld said, "No, I want to do something. I want to do something special for you. I don't want to do something in your sketchbook. I want to do something special." So he wheeled the kid around in his wheelchair. He took his silver ink pen and he drew a sketch on the back of this kid's wheelchair.
Wow.
And I mean, love or hate his style, the fact that he drew the whole backside of this kid's wheelchair, drew a sketch on the backside of this wheelchair in say like 25 minutes, and it, you know, for his style, it looked good, and for free for this kid,
hard to beat.
You know, it's like, you know what, you can say whatever you want, you can draw however you like. I might make fun of it, but on the list of cool guys I ever met, you're on the list of cool guys I ever met. So, you know, love him or hate him, I really can't say anything bad about him, even when he says something that's like, I don't agree with you there, but I'm not going to knock you for it. But
so the one place the kid can never see the art.
No, but he could go around and go, see this back here? Yeah, that's Rob Liefeld's. Rob Liefeld did that.
Let me add, like, you know, these conventions, these are like auditions, I think, for comic fans. You go to these things, and if somebody's grumpy, man, you guys love Jay Lee's art to this day. I am not a Jay Lee fan from the incident when we were in San Diego Comic-Con and we were handing out our little book that had some scantily clad women in it, and he just looked at me and gave me an excuse why he doesn't want to touch that book. I am forever jaded by that, because even if it was, somebody could have handed me a comic on like satanic people or whatever it is, something I really like despise, and I would go, oh, thank you for this comic, just like Todd McFarlane did, and then put it over in this pile and never touch it again. You can be nice to people. You don't have to be condescending to people.
Yeah.
And so my experience with the Rob Liefeld, it really wasn't bad. And like Walt, I mean, like, love him or hate him, he passed my little interview, you know, at that Comic-Con and stuff like that, while other people were kind of grumpy, sassy people. I mean, you can't like totally judge somebody on one day, because we all have bad days, you know, even if you, I mean, who knows, maybe Jay Lee got up that day and his girlfriend broke up with him or something. I don't know. But, you know, that's all we can go by.
You know, the thing about California, it's full of Californians.
That's true.
And Ken says, Riverside here, of course, I had to leave. Thanks, Dad, for being in the Air Force. I think that's what happens. That's what happens. Hey, Sean, you're up.
You know, I remember, in fact, my story about the bus. One of the just a few days before I took off on that bus, I actually picked up that issue of New Mutants. Hadn't picked up an issue of New Mutants, I don't think, ever. But the cover had Cable, had Domino, Deadpool, and a character named Gideon, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Gideon was an interesting character. I don't know if we've ever seen him again.
He's been around. He's been around even recently, even with the relaunch.
Cool.
They don't do much with him, but he's been around.
The character of Domino, the character of Deadpool stood out to me. Huge fan of Ralph Bakshi's Wizards, and Deadpool obviously reminded me a lot of one of the main characters called Peace. So I picked up the issue and I flipped through it on that bus, and I said to myself, "What is this crap?" This was terrible. I'm learning how to be an illustrator at this point, and I'm looking at this going, "This is crap. This I can do, and I'm not good at anything at this point." His posing was horrible. His action, in my opinion, was horrible. There was nothing redeeming about about Rob Liefeld's art, except he created interesting characters.
Yeah.
Would I give him all the credit for Deadpool? No.
No.
He drew a costume, a very simplistic costume, which I believe Walt said has been done so much better by so many illustrators.
And writers. And writers.
And writers.
And writers.
Ed McGuinness, I believe it was, started on the Deadpool series. And his stuff was amazing on Deadpool. Of course, Ed McGuinness' stuff is amazing, period.
There was someone else, because there were two
Joe Madureira.
Yes.
Joe Madureira did the first miniseries.
Yes.
He's not too shabby.
No. And this was early in his career, so it still doesn't even look like Joe Madureira stuff.
Yeah.
It is a complete and total ripoff of Deathstroke. I don't think anybody has ever debated that. I don't even think Rob Liefeld has debated.
No, Rob Liefeld has said that's exactly what it is.
Right. Now, as far as Rob Liefeld as a human being, I haven't come into contact with Rob Liefeld in at least 15 years, maybe 20. But I can tell you of the time I did. We were down in Dallas at a convention, and at that convention was Dan Fraga, Rob Liefeld's protege, I believe, at that time, and I believe Jim Lee. Both of those image guys were there in Dallas to promote. I believe Fraga was promoting Black Flag, and Jim Lee was, of course, promoting Wildcats and some of the other comics that he was producing. Rob Liefeld decided, what?
Murph.
No. Rob Liefeld decided that he was going to fly to Dallas and hang out with his image crew. Rock and roll. If I had that kind of money, I would do the same. Well, first met him in the elevator on the way down to the convention. And he was kind of a pompous ass. Great start. But we're going to let that go. Saw him in a Levi commercial. All right. Yeah. You're kind of full of yourself at this point. I got you. It's cool. It's cool. I'll let that one pass.
I remember that commercial.
Once we got to the floor, I, along with some of my other Rough Cut friends, we were advertising Rough Cut number 2. And hoping to make a lot of money so that we could publish number 3. Spoiler, we didn't make number 3. And in the process of that, down at the end of the area was Dan Fraga set up at a booth, and people were lined up, and they're getting their comics signed, and they're getting sketches, and everybody's having a great time. Well, here comes Rob Liefeld, sits down, and he's hanging with his buddy. Rock and roll. And then here comes a kid. Actually, the first few were teens and some adults, and Rob said, "You know what? I'm not here. I'm just hanging with my friend. I'm not here in any capacity. I'm not doing any of that." Okay. Little kids start coming up, and they're asking for a signature or a sketch. I'm not here. You don't see me. I don't exist. Talk to my friend. Don't talk to me. And what did it for me was there was this little kid. I remember this vivid. Had to be about, 5, 6, little bitty kid. Walks up. Mr. Liefeld, can I? And he spun in his chair. And he said, "Look, I'm not here. You don't see me. Go away." And I said, "Oh, no. No. We're not doing that." And I pulled out a chair and I sat down. And I just sat there staring at Rob Liefeld. And Rob Liefeld became uncomfortable. I admit.
So you're a bully.
Oh, yeah.
You're a bully.
Totally. And I'm
going to come over on your day off, and I'm going to make you do some graphic design for me until you do it.
Bring it. And I sat there, and I sat there, and I sat there. And I waited. And my friend Steve comes over and he's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm debating whether or not I need to bust Rob Liefeld across the head with a wooden chair." And he sat there and was like, "Okay." And he pulled up a chair and he sat down next to me. And we just sat there and waited. And then a small little kid comes walking up. This one, probably about 3 or 4, with his grandmother, walks up. Didn't even have to ask. Rob said, "You want an autograph? You want a sketch?" And he grabbed it and he just started doing stuff, looking over at me, looking at the sketch, looking at me. I sat there, I pointed, and I went off about my business.
Wow, Sean, you channeled some big fat justice there. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are in this business. I don't care if you're the biggest dog in the world or if you're the smallest. You're trying to become you're trying to get into comics. You're trying to sell to the people. You need to treat the people with respect. They're the ones buying your product. They're the ones making you who you are. If they like what you do, you respect the people that want to follow you. You don't treat them like trash. I don't care who they are. I don't care if all they have is enough money to buy a $2 lapel pen as opposed to your $150 sketch that you're selling. You treat that with respect because that person looks up to you, and that person has this air of awe about you.
I'm not going to defend Rob Liefeld, but I'm going to kind of just say you got to remember he didn't break in the industry at 31. He broke in really, really young and made a lot of money early on. And if I was let me tell you something, if I was 21, whether I was playing pro football or drawing or whatever, I would be a different person than I am today. So you probably met the Rob Liefeld that needed somebody to kind of look at him and say, "Come on, dude." And maybe you planted a seed that turned him into the Rob Liefeld I got at my convention. You just never know. So,
and I was going to say, that person may not exist anymore, and God bless him if that be the case. If he has, over the years, taken these lessons and learned that yes, I can lose all of this in a heartbeat if people stop buying my stuff and because I'm being crappy to them, or if he said, maybe I'm not the cat's meow that I think I am, and he humbled himself a bit more. Fantastic. I've got all the respect.
Can you say that phrase anymore? Is that still legal?
I don't know.
What
cat's meow?
Whatever.
Meow? Oh yeah, it's still
Is that still okay?
It's okay.
Do I have respect for Rob Liefeld and what he's accomplished? Absolutely. He's done amazing things over the course of his career. He's been in the right place at the right time. He's got the right attitude. He's a good businessman in that respect. Do I care for his artwork? No. I still don't care for his artwork. The last thing that I saw, I could see a lot of improvement, but I still think he's not a good illustrator. But I've got all the respect in the world for him, for what he has accomplished. Here I am, as old as I am, and I'm still nowhere near what he has accomplished. Maybe if I wasn't such a dill hole myself, maybe I'd be further along.
No comment. And the defense rests, Your Honor.
Maybe we need to get Rob on here to see if he remembers that moment.
Hey, you know what? Rob is definitely welcome on here.
That would be awesome.
He does a
podcast
now.
I promise you, I am a piece of dust in the wind. He doesn't remember a single thing about my retarded self over there staring at him.
Hey, you know what? You'd be surprised. I was surprised when Katie Sackhoff remembered the first time I met her at a convention. She's like, "Oh yeah, you were the guy who had the swollen face because you had an abscessed tooth and I had a broken finger."
Damn.
Like, right. So,
well, now I will admit, I had met Jason Pearson in San Diego. The whole reason I went to San Diego Comic-Con was to meet Jason Pearson. And day one, I saw him at his table. I said, the whole reason for my trip here is to get a sketch from you. It's all I want. I will go home happy once I get this done. And he was kind of down, and he was like, "Look, I'll do it, but I've got to charge you." And I'm like, I don't care. The whole reason for me being here is you. And he's like, okay, I'm not going to do it here. I'll take it up to the hotel room and I'll do something really cool for you. And I'm like, groovy. Here's my book. Have a ball. Well, is there anything? I want you to put whatever you want to put in this book. I don't care. And I left it with him. And the next morning, I'm having breakfast. I'm having breakfast with, I believe it was Scott and Dirk and our other friend Rob, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And here come all the people getting ready to go into the convention. And here comes Jason Pearson. He stops and he's like, Sean, I got that book. Just stop by the table and I'll get it to you. And
I was
like,
there.
all right, excellent. And he kept walking. And everybody's at the table going, who was that? Who was that? That was just Jason Pearson. And I went back to eating my breakfast. Jason Pearson? He called you by name. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I miss conventions.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting Simon Beasley back down here in Texas because I'm going to call Mom, Simon Beasley's going to be in town. Remember the guy who you and him had like the big 30 minute to an hour conversation? So, yeah. So I got to get her back down here to meet Simon Beasley again because he was sitting there drawing and he looks over, my mom's looking over. He's like, can I help you? He's like, oh no, I'm just watching because I'm fascinated how you're just able to do that right there on the spot. She goes, I teach art. And he was like, let me put down my pen. He goes, you're an art teacher? He's like, pull up a chair. Let me talk to you. And he like stopped doing what he was doing to have a conversation with my mom because she said that she was a retired art teacher. So I thought, cool guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll come back and talk to him again. So,
Let me add to my Jason Pearson story. The last time I saw him was in Tulsa. He did not remember me. He did not remember the conversation that we had in San Diego until I presented him with my sketchbook, and he flipped through it and he saw his the character Panda from his body bags. This was before body bags was even a thing, before he had written any body bags. He had done the sketch.
Teresa's Maxine is awesome.
Thanks. I think she's watching.
And I showed him the sketchbook. He looked at it and he's like, I remember doing this. And I did this. And I did this in a hotel. And I was doing this. And I did. And I'm like, yes, that was me. Because I have the book. See? He was super nice guy. A little dark. He's got some demons, but a fantastic person. Fantastic illustrator.
All right, we're going to go to On Blast. Maxine agrees that she is awesome. Michelle says, I miss conventions so much. We need to go as a group and stay the night and go drink with the guests as soon as we can. We used to be able to get, guest passes and stuff and go do that. And apparently you have to be Jim Lee. Like only Jim Lee gets a pass and everyone else has to like come as normal people now.
That's because everybody at the cons would have a guest pass because the internet allows you to make your own website.
That is true.
Yeah.
And everything else. True.
I mean, we had guest pass at San Diego Comic Con 25 years ago, but we had to actually produce a comic and put it out and distribute it, and we were in Diamond, so we proved our deal. But you're right, you could do a web comic and say, well, gosh, I have 10,000 people following me on there. Shouldn't I have a pass or something? So I don't know what the bar is, but apparently like people who are working for Marvel and DC are not getting in as guests, which I think is insane. Right. So it's going to be very difficult for us to get in there as guests.
I think it's these days you have to pay for a table.
Mm-hmm. I was just I was just mentioning Jason Pearson. Several conventions that he would normally go to, he was no longer given a guest pass. He had to pay for an entrance. He had to pay for his own table. He, being a professional in the business, was not given that free pass anymore. They're making a lot of changes to what they allow, or what you literally have to be invited by the convention to
get a guest pass. Yeah,
right.
All right, what was the
and
subject?
and now they have
what we consumed,
and now they have like directors, movie directors and producers that are, and Robert Downey Jr. showing up at these things. So I mean, you're getting pushed aside so that they can get super big guests that are a big damn deal. So that's the way that. And you're right. If they allowed everyone who has something in there, they would have 300,000 guests. Steve says, this is my favorite obscure 1990s comic artist video cast. Maxine says, thank you. Ken says he misses running conventions. It hasn't been that long, has it?
Yeah.
Brendan says he needs a guest pass. Don't we all?
Don't we
And Maxine
all?
says he's just kidding. You are awesome, though.
What was the
Don't
topic?
take that back.
Our topic
This
is what was.
This is your favorite thing. We had to get on to something else because some people were pontificating tonight. So we are going to on blast, and for that first, I'm going to Sean.
What are we talking about again? I'm sorry, I'm
On
still
blast,
stuck on
dude.
convention.
Is this your first episode? Hello.
What did we consume over the
What
week?
have you consumed
other than food and drink?
over the past week?
I'll go
Movies,
first. Take it off, Sean. Let him
Television
think.
shows, books, comics,
Actually,
games.
I haven't done a whole lot other than working. I'm all caught up on the Mandalorian. That's about it.
All right. Is that what you
Sadly, that's all I got.
got? All right. I'm going to go to Scotty's.
Okay,
This is
I got a
his
few
favorite
things.
segment. This is all he wants to do, really, is get to this. And
Yeah,
then
really.
And then I talk about it, and then you go, "What is this on blast
Well,
thing? I don't understand."
You took us off topic here. So first, I've been reading Volo's Guide to Monsters. This is a D&D supplement, has extra monsters. It tells you, like, if you were going to role play a beholder, what kind of attitudes they have and how do they think and how they live and all this stuff. It's pretty cool, actually. So I'm planning on trying to start running a campaign for my children come 2021. And so I'm trying to beef up on some of my knowledge there. I want to talk about this because usually when I play video games, it's only Rocket League. I impulse bought, I think that's the fun of Christmas shopping is you see stuff for yourself and you go out and you just buy it at that same time because you're like, am I spending money? So this is Mega Man 11 for the Switch. Of course, it's the typical old Mega Man, side scroll thing where it's super freaking hard, like maybe too hard. This is made. Anyways, I played this game on the first level. It has 4 levels of difficulty, like super hard, regular, novice, and then it's super beginner. I tried it on just the novice. And after about maybe 45 minutes, I said, I can't do this. I'm too old. So I went to the very beginning level. I eventually had to watch a YouTube video and read an article on how to get past the very first level. And I finally did. And I felt like I conquered the world. I wanted to like DX chop everything. And like, I was so excited. And then I had to remember, like, I'm on the easiest level. So if you're out there, and you like video games and you think I can beat anything, go get Mega Man 11. Let's see what you got. Because it wasn't easy.
A humble pie.
It's not. Mega Man was hard for me back in the day, but I got past certain levels and boy, this thing was hard. Now, TV show, caught up on Mandalorian. There's a show on Netflix, a series that I never heard before until like 2 days ago. It's called Big Mouth. It's an animated show. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with this.
I've watched it.
I've watched it.
It is 4 seasons in. They just came out, I guess, with the latest season, and that's how it skyrocketed up. Me and Jennifer was just looking for something. We were exhausted but couldn't go to sleep, so we were like, see if we find a show that we might like. Well, it's cartoon. It's only 25 minutes long. It's raunchy, so it was like right up both of our boats. We watched the first 2 episodes. It was freaking hilarious. Now, this is coming from a point of view because it talks about teenagers. First episode was about teenage boys, which Jennifer has, and then teenage girls, which is what I have. So It really hit the spot for us. We're looking forward to slowly watching this show together. Big Mouth on Netflix.
It's very sexually oriented.
It's very raunchy. It's funny.
But at the same time, there's so many truths to what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of like South Park, like I recommended it to the guy at the comic store, Brian, and one of the coworkers goes, "Brian, don't watch it. You're too prude for it." And he said, "Okay, then I'm not going to watch it." So, anyways, we moved on.
Is that all your show and tell?
That's all. I'm going to give you 3 things and move on.
Just 3 tonight. Ken says the last time he was a chairman was SoonerCon 13 back in the 90s. For some reason, I thought you were involved in some other stuff. Doesn't matter.
Well, just let him speak, man. Trust his word.
Steve says Mega Man equals Dark Souls for boomers.
Yeah.
Or Generation X, because don't put me in the boomer category.
Yeah.
I was raised by boomers.
Yeah.
They
Michelle
made
says
me what I am.
She can't stop buying herself things while Christmas shopping this year. I can't tell you how many times Savannah and I kept stopping at Victoria's Secret and buying themselves stuff.
I have bought Mega Man 11 and countless candles in my journey.
Dude, aren't you stocked up on candles yet?
Hey, I worked on art over 8 hours today, and the whole time I was smelling beautiful berry candles. Oh, it was so good.
Are you preparing for the zombie apocalypse and you're worried about not having candles for that moment?
No, I just love how they smell.
That's great.
All right, Walt, you're up.
All right, I haven't consumed much. I bought this. I've been wanting to read this series for a while, so I bought this over the weekend.
That's my favorite artist.
Brian Stelfreeze. That's the main reason why I bought it. So I'm looking forward to reading this sometime this week. And over the weekend, I rewatched the entire Teen Titans series again, probably for the 5th time.
Really?
And I have to say, the last seasons, actually, I can't even last few seasons. I just say all 5 seasons of that show. The writing in that show is just really outstanding.
Wow.
I mean, I just the last season is really good because it focuses on Beast Boy's past. We see the Doom Patrol. The first 2 episodes. It's a 2-parter, and it ends up with the Doom Patrol's main villain becoming the Teen Titans' main villain. So the whole season is about what are they? The Masters of Evil.
This is the Brotherhood of Evil.
Brotherhood of Evil. It's all about the Brotherhood of Evil trying to stop the next generation of heroes. And it basically comes down to the last 3 episodes, and Beast Boy is left, and he's got to lead the replacement Titans to rescue all the other main Titans and all the other auxiliary Titans. And it's written really good. The way they portray the characters. Probably my favorite side character Titans are Minos and Moss, because they speak Spanish the whole time. They're basically the Flash, but only when they're touching. They're twins. So when they're not touching,
powers.
Yeah. So when they're not touching, they're normal human beings, but when they're holding hands, they're the Flash. And they don't speak English, so that's even funnier because what little Spanish that I do understand, I'm like, they just said that guy stinks. But yeah, it's really good. The final episode is a total downer, but I think it's a fitting end. Other than the movie, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, I recommend if you have HBO Max, you can stream all five seasons.
Wow.
I have HBO Max, but I also bought them all on DVD well before HBO Max, so being able to stream them was a lot easier, not having to change disc. So but yeah, that's what I did. Those are the things I've consumed over the weekend. So
Michelle wants you to show us your shirt.
Bootios.
the new day. So,
Did you get that with the pops?
Actually, no. I bought this at WrestleMania 32. And hang on one second. I'll show you how it came. How the shirt is packaged.
Oh my!
All right. I'm gonna show some comments here on Scott's candle situation. Steve says Wicks and
In a
Steve
cereal
Scott.
box. That's awesome.
So that was how the shirt came packaged, and there's your unicorn mask that you can cut out,
Nice.
and then but this is the best right here. How to do the Big E dance.
That's good.
That right there was worth it. And then there's all the
nutritional facts.
The bootrition facts.
Bootrition. How funny.
So of course I bought two of these because I still have one of these, boxes.
In the box.
It still has the shirt in the box. So yeah, that's the shirt.
Steve says that Scott got the same shirt for Christmas from an awesome guy a while back.
I'm not friends with that guy anymore. No.
Ken said he helped with SoonerCon, but he missed picking a guest lineup. Michelle says candles are wonderful.
Candles are wonderful. They're the life breath of Scott.
Can't.
And maybe the death of me eventually.
I can't do candles.
Wow.
All day long. Candles for life.
My on blast is a show called Utopia. It's on Amazon Prime. It's something that I heard a little bit about. I didn't really know what it was. It's basically like
Which version?
Utopia.
Oh, I thought you said Dudetopia. I thought it was like this wonderful
That's
world.
something different.
Which
marry
version?
I don't know. It's a series on Amazon. Is there another Utopia?
There's two different Utopias. There's the BBC, and then there's the one with Rainn Wilson.
Is it the same thing?
I believe the American version is based on the BBC one.
Well, that would explain some things because this is funny but weird and dark.
It's dark,
which seems to kind of that does explain some stuff. Because it seems like, if it's coming from the BBC, they might go dark on this sort of thing. It has a very strange mood to it, which I like a lot. It's artistic. It's everyone in it, including the bad guys so far, are nerds. Like everyone are nerds. The main characters are super nerds, and they go to a convention and they talk about comic books and stuff. And then the bad guys, there's a couple of bad guys that run around and they're awkward and also nerdy. It's kind of funny, but it's mostly awkward and dark. There's a lot of really cool artwork in this thing. It has a lot to do with kind of conspiracy theory stuff and kind of trying to find, secrets in this artwork, which really, really appeals to me. So far, I know that Rainn Wilson is in it. I know that, the guy in Say Anything, what's his name?
John Cusack.
John Cusack is in it, but they weren't in the first episode. So everyone is in it as a fresh face. It's an interesting, eclectic cast. I really enjoyed this thing. It's like, why does this thing not have, more attention paid to it? I don't know whether it comes from a book or it's just from the from the BBC or what, but so far, one episode in, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to watch what is coming up next. It's weird and dark. That is right up my alley.
The original Utopia was from 2014.
Okay.
It was a British black comedy conspiracy thriller drama broadcast on Channel 4 from the January 15th, 2013 to August 12th of 2014.
Well, I would definitely like to see the original version too.
Written by Dennis Kelly.
Okay. So that's where it comes from.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Very interesting.
See, now I've seen the original Utopia.
Kim says Utopia on Prime, is not the BBC. Michelle says,
but I
sounds like a great
believe
show.
I believe the other Utopia is
one
on,
episode in. It's awesome.
Is on Prime. I believe it's on Prime.
So the British version is too.
I believe so because I just watched.
Cool.
I just watched it somewhere the other day.
How many episodes? How many seasons does the old version have?
The old version, it says it's only got one season, but I could have swore it had two. I guess it just had the one.
Well, I'm a fan. Unless it just completely goes off the rails, it's got a really good setup for sure. I'm fascinated with it so far, and I just kind of found it on a lark, just kind of looking around for stuff. It's like, this sounds interesting. Well, it was far more than interesting to me. Anyone else have anything?
Nope.
You might be, since we brought up Rainn Wilson, you might be interested in those that last batch of, if I can remember how many movies there were, the DC animated movies as of recent. Rainn Wilson is the voice of Lex Luthor in all of those movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I can get behind him a lot easier than I can Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, he's the voice of Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
and when I found out that he was the voice of Lex Luthor, I was like, what? So,
I think I'd rather have Melissa McCarthy play Lex Luthor.
Actually, that might be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
I'm just saying.
Wonder if
Then
she'd shave her
Eisenberg,
head.
he was really poorly. And I love Zack Snyder, but that was a miss for me.
A big, huge swing and a miss.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those movies would be, if any of you guys ever watch all those movies, discussing that would be having it as a discussion would be great, because
The DC EU.
from Flashpoint on up to Justice League Dark, Apocalypse
you're
War,
talking about the animated stuff.
the animated stuff. Because a lot of those movies
How
are
many
good.
movies are you talking about there?
We're talking 14, maybe. It's almost as vast as
I've seen some
the
of
Marvel. Yeah, it's almost as vast as the MCU. That's how many there's how many movies there are in there. I'll just say that there's a bunch of like hits and misses, and then like the very last one is like, you're like, it's entertaining, but so it'd be great for a discussion in the future.
Savannah says Jesse Eisenberg is not a good Lex.
No.
I think that is almost universal. I have yet to hear anyone defend him.
By the way, to confirm, the original Utopia is on Amazon Prime.
Oh, well, as soon as I get done with this version, I'm going to go look at
Go watch the original version.
Yep. Steve says as long as it's not All-Star Superman, it would be interesting. Jeree says, wow, Melissa McCarthy. Yeah, I just pulled that out of my hat. Pulled that out of my hat. Ken wants to know if there's a timeline of those movies.
Yes.
I've seen some of them.
Yes, there is.
I haven't seen all of them.
Yes, there is. And to be honest, the best one out of the whole lot, is Flashpoint, the first one.
Really?
Yes.
That's where it starts at Flashpoint?
It starts at Flashpoint.
That's interesting.
And that movie, as much as I hated the whole New 52 thing, the Flashpoint movie made me want to read the Flashpoint comic series, like everything about it.
Wow.
because that movie is, to coin a phrase, very kick ass. I have to say that they based their version of Aquaman is totally based off of Brock Lesnar, because I have to say that is the best Aquaman ever. Hands down, that Aquaman is my favorite Aquaman in the Flashpoint animated movie.
Steve wants to defend Jesse Eisenberg.
No.
No, I'm just gonna totally ignore that comment right there.
The character that Snyder had
we're
created.
gonna go on a tangent, Steve.
The character that Snyder created, I'll give you. But Eisenberg was not the correct actor for that part, which I believe that's what he's saying. I agree.
It's
with
just
that.
Eisenberg was just not the choice.
I think he was a lightweight.
Yeah.
Compared to some other people that were heavyweights.
Yeah.
Get Billy
All right,
Zane.
promo
in
time.
there.
What?
Billy Zane.
Bill Zane?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We could pull him out of the mothballs.
You guys sound like
Finish your thoughts, Scott.
I said. Walt and Sean sound like old men. Why can't we get Clint Eastwood to come in and play young Professor X?
Grumpy old man.
He would.
That's why B. Arthur and who was it? Art Rooney, Art Carney was in that Star
Art Carney
Wars.
and B.
Yeah.
B. Arthur.
That's why they were there, because Walt and Sean traveled back in time and go, those are great actors in the 40s.
Quit yelling at me. Yelling.
Wow.
Fun stuff.
Michelle says Jason Momoa is her favorite Aquaman. I mean, come on. He's
Get out of here.
everyone's favorite Aquaman.
No.
No?
He'd have made a better Lobo. Way better
Yeah,
Lobo.
he would have made a better Lobo.
Jaria's about Jason Momoa. See, you see how this is?
But he was not Aquaman.
Wow. Savannah says that Jason Momoa looks like how a fart smells.
Yeah, he looks dirty. He's like Brad Pitt. He needs a bath.
It's just,
I'd take them both in the backyard and throw soap on him and spray him down with the hose.
no.
You just think he needs a bath.
It just didn't work for me. I mean, the movie was okay, but it was everything else but Jason Momoa that I liked about that movie.
Don't give him attention, Walt. Just go.
What's
oh,
on
yeah,
the
I can't wait
Muppets?
to do my promo.
Help me out here, man.
All right.
On the Muppets. Jeree says great minds think alike. Steve likes the brave and bold Aquaman.
That's my second favorite right
Is
there.
that the one with the hook or the spear or whatever on his hand?
No. This, if you ever watched Brave and the Bold animated show, he was very flamboyant and outrageous, and he always all of his adventures had a story at the end.
Oh, that was the thing with it was with Batman.
Yeah.
And other people.
Yeah.
Oh, he says that you guys are like the old men on the Muppets.
Yes.
Thank you.
Up in the booth.
Up in the booth.
But we're not heckling people, although I'd be good at it.
We're heckling a little.
Sean heckled Rob Liefeld.
We're heckling a little.
Sean heckled Rob Liefeld on his day off.
And I will probably heckle Rob Liefeld until.
Oh, you know what?
There was proven otherwise.
There's one thing I forgot to add on my things that I consumed over the weekend.
Steve knows the dumb names of those characters.
Yeah, I watched from I think it's from about maybe 2-3 years ago, a 4-hour Dave Chappelle set.
Nice.
Where he was trying out his new stuff that he's doing now, and after he did his 1 hour set, it became just hang out with you guys for the next 3 hours.
Wow.
And
he just kept going.
He just kept going, and he was letting the crowd heckle him, and he was heckling back, and it was like fun stuff, like fun witty banter. and it goes on for like 3 hours and 40 something minutes. And the whole time he's like, I need to go get me some sushi. And like halfway through, he goes and gets his coat, puts on his coat. And he's like, I'm not leaving yet. I'm just putting on my coat. He goes, but I am leaving in 20 minutes. And then 2 hours later, he finally leaves.
How funny.
So
Walt just gave a promo for Dave Chappelle.
So if you see that on YouTube,
well,
if you see it on YouTube, watch it. It's hilarious.
Yep. Dave Chappelle is the best.
Yeah, he is the best. And I mean, he's just up front. Anyway, that's it. Finally,
I'm going back to you, man. Where do you want people to go? We're doing.
Right now, I've got nothing to promote. Still working on an idea. If you want to see something of yours on a car in Gran Turismo,
and I do,
hit me up. I'm working on I'm trying to figure out a way where I'll do it and I'll send you the picture or whatever. I don't know. It's I just think it's kind of cool. I've seen people like promoting KFC, doing their own versions of Kentucky Fried Chicken race car, and I just like to see some things that if you have an idea, you want to see something outrageous, let me know. Even my buddy Steve, me and him have been trading off. Me and him have both been doing Taskforce Geek liveries on cars. So
nice.
And racing. So, I'm working on it. So if you're interested in seeing something of yours, if you've got a
Steve wants a both down car.
Hey, get me a both down logo. We'll do it. I'll even put your if you got a website or your podcast address or whatever, we'll put that on there too.
That'd be really cool.
Well,
I mean, I'm actually working. I was going to keep this secret, but I'm actually thinking about a super show. So if if you're out there watching, super show. So,
all right, Scott. Speaking of both down, we're going to you.
Yeah, I wasn't going to promote anything for myself tonight, but I will. Real quick, bothdown.com, right down here. Boom, boom. There's a Blood Bowl podcast. But what I wasn't going to promote myself tonight because I wanted to quickly talk about the Choctaw Yellow Jackets. My alma mater went to the state championship. It was the first time since 1960 when they won their only state championship. We fell to I think the team was supposedly ranked like 21st in the nation. According to USA Today, we lost to the Bixby team, but I'm really proud of my alma mater. I never thought I would see, I think every favorite team I've grown up liking has now been either in some type of championship or have won a championship. So I think, my bucket list on sports is all done pretty much from what I know. If John Cena could win one more WWE championship, I might be really happy. But so I'm just really proud of those guys. They represented well. We only lost 17-14. It was a great game. We had chances to win. Bixby, I think, has won 35 straight games. They've won 6 out of the last 7 state championships. So I'm really proud of my guys, and I look forward to supporting them again as a lot of the younger kids are coming back to Choctaw High School. Go Jackets.
Steve says Jinx Trojans.
Yeah, they won 6A1.
Yep.
They won 6A1. Choctaw played for the 6A2 state championship. So
there you go. Good stuff. And let's see. Let's also get some people over on your Twitter account.
Yeah, you can follow me over at Real Scott Prime on Twitter. You can catch me there. You can also email me realscottprime@gmail.com.
There you go. All right, Sean, you're up.
Like usual, by all means, go check out rankingstudios.com.
New stuff on there.
Been doing a lot of work to the website. We've got portfolios set up for all of the 4 members of the Ranking Studios, so you can go there, check out everybody's artwork. I've also been updating several other parts of the website, still working feverishly to get that working the way I want it to work. But yeah, go check that out. Also, you can find us at Facebook/Ranking Studios. Feel free to stop on by, say hi, and let us know what you think of us, what you think of the artwork. You can get a hold of us at info@rankingstudios.com. Yeah, just that. Do that. Do that.
Do those things. Do it.
Do it.
You got a lot of our images up there, Sean. Good job.
That website's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Ranking Studios too, because I had someone on LinkedIn he said that he went over to my my gallery there, and he said my artwork was amazing. So it's just the stuff that's on Ranking Studios. So if you want to see the artwork of Scott Prime, and you want to see the artwork of Sean Wilson and our buddy Robert Henry and my artwork, it's all available right now. And we all need to kind of update, except for Sean. Sean did the big upload on there. So his stuff has tons of artwork. You ought to go take a look at it.
And I'm not even done yet.
No, I mean, like every good website, you should never be done.
I mean, I've still got probably a good 400 pieces that I want to load up at some point.
Good Lord, you're going to break the internet.
That's my job.
Jesus Cristo.
Also, you can check me out on Facebook at Dark Hooper Artworks and on Twitter at Dark Hooper Plus, which is also where we're broadcasting from tonight. One other thing I want to say, you can mail us stuff. There's the address for that. That's all I have to say. We'll take some stuff. We'll do unboxings, or we'll show it on the show, or whatevs. That's the way we roll. What does people have to say? Yeah, for whatever reason, Tulsa, this is a deep cut, folks. The Tulsa high school football teams are always really good.
They don't split their schools, man.
Perennially.
There's
always good.
There's no North Jinx, South Jinx, West Jinx. They're like they're like small universities. And that's not a knock. That's just a system they developed, and that's why they have 4 million kids in their graduating class. So
back when I graduated with 2,000 people at Moore
was the power.
Moore was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And then they split to Westmore, and now there's also Southmore. So that you've split that by 3.
Sure. I mean, it's just a
Says
formula.
y'all are the best. Thank you very much.
I am the best. Thank you. And I'm always correct.
Scott is 100% correct. God, don't tell him that. Good Lord.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ken says, yes, the refuse to split, and you have seniors only. There's only seniors in that school?
No. Well, I don't know about that.
Or is he just saying there's only senior players?
Possibly. I mean.
Yep. Does anyone else have anything that they want to add? We are T-minus 2 days away from Cyberpunk 2077. I hope that everyone has their affairs in order.
No, I hope
if you have anything that you need to tell me, or
I hope that you have your time planned out correctly.
If you don't happen to hear from me, I'm probably fine. Probably.
That's fine as long as you get one thing colored before then.
don't forget to be back here next Tuesday.
Right. Well, that could be an issue.
So, will we need to have a special window so that you can play and talk?
You might
at
have
the same
to.
time?
It might be. So. It might look like a Twitch broadcast where I'm playing the game and I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Right. So,
I did want to also say, like Scott, I too am a Choctaw alumnus, and very proud of the effort that those guys put forward. I've never known them to be. I've never been a big sports person. Never been. I play basketball. I enjoy basketball, but beyond that, I've never been a real big sports guy. But I'm exceptionally proud of what those guys did. Great job, all of you. Fantastic. My ex-girlfriend apparently was rooting for Bixby. Good on you.
Well, that's why she's your ex. Get out of here.
Congratulations to you. great job, those guys. They did a fantastic job as well. But yeah, go Jackets.
We mentioned
year.
Robert Henry. He's also from Choctaw. I mean, there is such a Choctaw connection. You guys have no idea. In
Center of the
Choctaw, it's like
universe.
the smallest, one of the smallest cities here in Oklahoma. And anyway, we have a lot of Choctaw roots around here. Jerry says, you play basketball? Never knew.
Not anymore. I got fat and I got bad knees.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate everything that you're doing for us. Thanks to everyone for watching. Please leave a like or share wherever you see this. It makes a huge difference. Please don't just listen to that. Please actually go like and share this wherever you see this. It makes a huge difference. Much love to you all. Happy holidays. Until next time, this is Dirk Hooper saying, dream hard.